Hi kids. Okay. Last video was Jaws. Summer of 75, June 75. So after Jaws, naturally, like you do, we're gonna talk about Rocky Horror Picture Show. Right? Of course. September of 75, so not much further in time. Rocky Horror Picture Show, directed, co-written by Jim Sharman. Richard O'Brien is the other writer. Richard O'Brien was an actor, um, wrote Rocky Horror Picture Show, or started writing it in his spare time, just based on all the things he liked. So it was part B movie, part schlock, Universal horror movie, monster movie, some rock and roll mixed in there, inspired by This Is the 70s, so there's glam and David Bowie and everything. Um, Richard O'Brien is somebody who occasionally identifies himself as transgender, or at least recognizes the femininity in himself, androgyny. So, stage actor, works with Jim Sharman. Jim Sharman was a stage director, kind of grew up around that type of thing. I think his dad was a boxer and was in like a traveling boxing troupe and did like vaudeville things. Both of them Australian. So the two of them collaborate, make Rocky Horror Picture Show the stage production. And then, of course, it gets produced and made into a movie. The primary producers on that are Lou Adler. Lou Adler, if you don't know who he is, started out in the music business as a manager of bands and a producer. Um, Worked with people like the Mamas and the Papas, Cheech and Chong, and Carole King. So you can see why he would want to make something like that. The other producer is Michael White. Michael White would go on to produce things like The Life of Brian and work with Monty Python a lot. So those are the minds that saw Rocky Horror Picture Show, the stage production, wanted to make it a movie. Just naturally fits, right? So Rocky Horror Picture Show, a lot smaller budget than Jaws and The Exorcist that we have just talked about. It's $1.4 million. Eventually ends up making $226 million or thereabouts at the box office, but starts out slow. Mentioned Exorcist opened in 25 screens. The Jaws video explained that they went bigger in almost 500 screens. Rocky Horror Picture Show opens in 8 screens. And it's not a massive success right away, but they try a lot of different marketing strategies, try to find the audience for it. Plays on college campuses, gets some attention there, ends up becoming a midnight movie. Haven't talked a lot about midnight movies. Night of the Living Dead was a midnight movie. They're usually your cult movies, your stranger movies. El Topo, if you don't know what that is, that's a midnight movie. And it gets double billed with a Brian De Palma movie, The Phantom of the Paradise, which is kind of a perfect pairing for Rocky Horror Picture Show. The Phantom of the Paradise is like the Phantom of the Opera meets Dorian Gray, thrown in with some Hitchcock-inspired Brian De Palma sensibilities. I saw somewhere online that was implying that Rocky Horror Picture Show ripped off The Phantom of the Paradise. The Phantom of the Paradise had come out a year before, which is all well and fine, except Rocky Horror Picture Show was a stage production before The Phantom of the Paradise was released and in production as a movie. So I'm not quite sure if you can rip off something that came before you, but I'll have to look. I'll look that up, guys. I'll look that up for you. Of course, Rocky Horror Picture Show. We've got Tim Curry in drag, or Tim Curry in regardless if he's in drag. Who doesn't like Tim Curry? Brian Boswick, Susan Sarandon, Meatloaf. Who else am I missing? Richard O'Brien. If you still aren't sure who he is, he's Riff Raff. So Riff Raff, and he's Riff Raff in almost forever. He's Riff Raff. No one else will be Riff Raff. Charles Gray. Charles Gray is who I'm forgetting. Charles Gray is the criminologist. Charles Gray is Blofeld. Bond fans. There's Charles Gray. It slowly builds, finds a following. They do promotions like if you show up in costume, you get in free. So there's the start of, people showing up midnight in costume to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show. And then people who go see the movie multiple times, they'll bring their friends. And then that's when they start the shout out lines, right? The dialogue, interacting with the movie, audience participation. So Rocky Horror Picture Show. I wanted to do something completely different than what we were doing, because it was kind of the same. Haven't really touched anything with that level of fun. So, Rocky Horror Picture Show, there you go. Like and subscribe. Next video will be a Brian De Palma movie. Just talked about him. And it will be the first adaptation of a Stephen King novel. So, that's next. Thanks, guys. Bye.